Well, welcome to the 11th episode of the Heroes Journal podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Kyle.
We are the co-founders of the Heroes Journal, and this podcast is a place where we talk about business and all things related to running a small e-commerce journal company in the midst of a pandemic and leading up to a Kickstarter currently.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what the whole podcast is about. Like,
Nope,
this podcast
Nope,
specific.
That's all we're talking about.
All right. Well, today I'm actually pretty excited. Today is probably the most pertinent from a time standpoint of any podcast topic we've had because we are leading up to a Kickstarter. And I wanted to talk to you about just like the general anxiety of running a Kickstarter, bringing something new to the world. Just kind of all of the things that go into not just running a Kickstarter itself, but also just having a new product, right? And this kind of re-unveiling of your thing.
Yeah.
And I think we both have definitely, us and our team have definitely like kind of worn the brunt of that stress.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just want to talk through that because I think it's something that people don't necessarily talk about a lot and is kind of missed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good stress. It's definitely a stress. It's kind of like you have to keep a secret for like 6 months because the new journal took us a really long time. We were looking back on it. I think even longer than 6 months.
Yeah, I think it was. It's not even necessarily done yet.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole thing about a Kickstarter is it's not like 100% done, but 90% done.
Yeah.
And we started in June, so that's the 6 months of the last 6 months of last year, and then
about 2 months of this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, and we didn't say anything about it until 3 weeks ago. So it's definitely, that's like one part of the anxiety is kind of like having to keep this secret and being so excited about this thing that you're creating. Just so you don't, announce it too soon and promise too much and you eventually like lose people's interest over time. Right. So you kind of have to make that announcement really work. And part of that process is being super quiet until it's time to sound the alarm, if you will.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like it never feels good to be like secretive. We're not like trying to like keep a secret, but it's actually better for everyone if you just don't say anything.
It's true.
It's one of those scenarios where more talking can actually make more confusion and make things much worse.
It's true.
It's one of the rare things. It
wasn't just the trope announcement that was such a big deal this time around. Like, obviously, for the first time ever, we are going from having, one trope in like kind of one fandom, we'll say, the fandom that's like more Lord of the Rings, Hobbit centric, to a Wizard Academy, to like Harry Potter, Little Witch, academia, like getting into a totally different story, but still having the bones be the same, still having all the goal setting things be the same, and still really having it work as a product that is enjoyable to use is really what it's about. I think that we've achieved that, but that wasn't the only secret we were keeping. Like initially remember when we were going to do 4 at once.
Yeah. Yeah. That one was going to be a different haul and that was going to be a different release date. That was going to be like in August or in October or something like that.
Even that would have been.
Yeah. That would have been rough.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh goodness. I'm so glad.
I'm so glad we didn't do that.
Yeah, so at first, I think we were scared of going from one trope to a second trope.
Yeah, it felt like a weird jump.
Yeah, it felt like, for some reason, we felt like, we have to go from one universe to like a multiverse of different adventures all at once. And maybe, in a different universe, we have more artists and we have more like manpower to create these things. But just currently having one artist and having one kind of like process to do it kind of limits us to what we can create.
Yeah, this is as a sidebar to that conversation. It's been really interesting since we've announced the Kickstarter. There have been a lot of lore implications that we've had to face, probably more than at any other time.
Yeah, people want to know like what's this, but it makes sense. Like our community is like they're like trained. It's like Pavlovian. They're like they see like a new
Our heroes.
Our hero, yeah, sorry. Our heroes are Pavlovian. They're like, their mouths start to water when they see like they're like, I want to know everything about the world and the backstory and what gives these characters their motivations and why is this world the way it is? What are the rules? Like they're like, they're nerds. And I love that they're so curious. I just don't know if we're ready to disclose all those details quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but it's just this line between not telling someone's story for them, but also having this lore. The biggest question is we've been getting asked is, where is the Astoria Magic Academy? Like,
really?
Where is it? Right? Like, because we have this, right? And everyone's like, where is the Astoria Magic Academy?
Yeah, they're like, I don't see a school in here. Yeah. Well, the short answer is we're not going to tell you yet.
Boom.
And the long answer is we're not sure yet.
Yeah.
But we have an idea.
Yeah. It's one of these things where it's not just about making a decision about the Astoria Magic Academy. Like, this is setting the precedent for any other trope that we make in the history of the Hero's Journal.
I mean, we can always change. Yeah. But for consistency's sake, I think our dream scenario is we nail it and we just are able to kind of replicate but do unique things. So I don't know. I don't want to say anything on the podcast that becomes canon, because I don't want the lore to leak, you know.
It's true.
But I want to talk to you real quick. I have a question for you, because earlier on in the Kickstarter, I should back up even more. Our first Kickstarter, kind of very ignorantly of us, we just said we'll ship to anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
What was the experience like our first time around, you know, doing that, you know, shipping internationally, having international backers?
It was terrible. So the reason it was terrible is because we had no infrastructure for anything.
Right.
So we were spending a lot of our time at the post office, and though the people at the post office work extremely hard, and
what do you mean infrastructure? Like, we had no infrastructure for what?
So you can get different platforms to help you manage your customers, like a CRM, and in those CRMs, some have things where you can have a pre-filled out customs form.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you just put the person's name in there, but all the information stays the same. Makes things a lot smoother. That's something we did not have. So we had about 15 backers, and we didn't have a printer, so we'd have to go to the post office.
15 backers outside the US.
Yeah. And we'd have to go to the post office and fill out like this 20 question questionnaire on where this thing's going, how much it's worth, how much taxes, how much this. And then it also costs like $80 to send it.
Yeah.
From the post office.
Yeah, we definitely lost money on every single international.
So from a financial standpoint, it hurt. But also from like a time standpoint, and just spending time at the post office it was just like, for 2 months, our jobs were 100% fulfillment. We couldn't really do anything else.
It's true. It's so much to ask. Like, so I just shot a video with Bert where I do like a tutorial of like how to back a Kickstarter. That'll be on YouTube next week. And I was looking at a campaign that was like based outside the US. And they charge, and obviously we're in the US. I backed their campaign and they charged $5 for shipping. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way it's going to cost you $5 to ship this. Like, you have to charge more for shipping. But Kickstarter is hard because like you kind of take these people that they're like, I just want my thing to be like, to be real. Like, I just want to make my product. I'm only asking for like $1,000. It's like, please just give me a shot. And then you get all this international attention, people that are just as passionate about the project, but like shipping just comes in and it's like
such a business.
Yeah. It's like you literally go from, it'd be cool to have this, to like, you have to figure out international shipping taxes right now. Or you're going to end up losing money.
Yeah.
Which is
and
like,
you probably will lose money anyways.
Exactly. It's not Kickstarter's fault. Everyone has to learn that the hard way. But I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I wish that they would have charged me more for shipping, because I gladly would have paid it. Because I know, as someone who lives in a different country, that I can't just ship something for $5.
Oh, that was the first one.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Yeah, see, that's the funny thing too, right? You had to.
Whoops.
Yeah, you filmed the video twice. So
Thanks.
it's shipping from where?
I think it's from the UK.
From the UK,
I think.
It wouldn't have been euros if it was from the UK.
Yeah, it was pounds.
It was pounds? I thought you said pounds. Oh, it was in pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Sorry, that's a weird, like, we just had a moment of trying to figure that out. But
yeah,
that's tough. $5.
Yeah. I mean, there were enamel pins.
Okay.
It was small, but there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to cost $5.
Did you look at how many projects that company had run, or that person had run for either one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, because it's definitely like we've still been like gun shy about the whole international shipping thing.
True. Well, that's what I was actually going to ask you. Like, I don't know, 5 minutes ago, I was going to be like, what are we gearing up for this time around? Because last time we were going to the post office, we were filling out these custom forms by hand while this clerk just stared at us, but this time around, we're trying to be more prepared, trying to be more on top of it. And for the first time, we're kind of publicly offering a international option for people that have been knocking on the door. Cause we've gotten probably, I would say in the ballpark of 100 to 200 emails over the last couple of years of just like, how do I get a Heroes Journal? I'll pay extra for shipping. Like, I don't care. I just want one so bad. So it's the first time we're offering them accessibility. And like, as the ops guy, I'm asking you, like, how are we going to take care of that demand?
So the reason this was like kind of my final say, and this to like go or no go.
Yeah.
And the reason I went go was because it's kind of an experiment. My concern with international shipping for a long period of time, like having it be something that's indefinite, is the like the break-even point from a time time output. If the Kickstarter will be an experiment to see if we're able to pack, label, and ship international shipments in a way that doesn't like take up all of our time, and we end up losing man hours in other spots.
Well, there's a cutoff date.
Yeah.
So you know for a fact that you will not be accepting international orders from Kickstarter, once our campaign closes. Yeah. So there's a little bit of peace of mind there where you're like, even if this is a living hell, I know it's going to be over once these are fulfilled. And then we can kind of make an educated decision from there.
Yeah. Cause we've thought about like having a logistics partner for just international orders. We've thought about, every day we do home pickups for FedEx. I believe DHL does the same thing.
I hope so.
But the thing about DHL home pickups is, we're not going to have them every single day like we do with FedEx, right? We're probably going to do, I'm hoping 1 to 2 major runs of international orders and get them out.
Who knows?
I can imagine us having to do anywhere in the ballpark from 100 to maybe 300 at most.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my thought.
Yeah, see.
Process wise, I'm hoping everything can live in our CRM. We use ShipStation. You probably see me wear that really cool hat.
They sent it to us.
Yeah.
Kyle didn't buy the hat.
Or it's on my laptop too. I'm a big ShipStation fan out here.
Huge.
It's my number one fandom. Everyone else is talking about Lord of the Rings and all this stuff. I'm just ShipStation.
What's the ShipStation lore?
Yeah, so I'm hoping as much of it can live in there. And then it's going to be, we have to figure out special packaging, both from like a sturdiness standpoint so that everything gets there. Because that's the other thing, right? The thing that is the most important. It's not about time output. It's about, I want someone who's across the world to have the same experience that a hero in the United States would have.
That's a good point.
Which means we have to really, really focus on like demobilization, padding, and just the overall customer experience.
Yep.
Because it's like, I'm not going to give you a negative customer experience. That's not who we stand for.
I'm going to give you a pop quiz, and hopefully this is a nice lesson for everyone. All right, pop quiz. What's more important when you're shipping items? Demobilization, which is keeping the item you're shipping from moving around, or padding in the packaging?
It's all about demobilization.
Really?
Yeah.
But I thought it would be nice and cozy to ship something if I put padding around it.
See, the thing is that it's all about your number of opportunities for something to get damaged. If your thing doesn't move around, you have lower opportunities for that thing to get damaged.
Yep.
Whereas if it's cushioned, it's still going to be moving.
Right.
Like, obviously, both is the best case scenario. You want it to be like cushioned and demobilized. But yeah, you want to have as few shakes and wiggles that could create dents or like smudges or whatever it is on the journal itself, or the box rather.
Do the shake test.
Do the old shake test. I packed, we had a couple school bulk orders today.
Yeah.
Both of them were schools. And one of them was like 20 journals. Yeah. And I was like trying to shake it, and it was so heavy, but it didn't shake, but it was so heavy. I like,
it's good.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yeah. The guy who helps us in the warehouse, Tom, was like, I don't even think Dwayne The Rock Johnson could hurt that. But I was like, is that like the litmus test? Like, could Dwayne The Rock Johnson hurt this journal? If yes, then we have to repack it. If
Repack
no,
it. Yeah, repack
it
it.
can go anywhere in the world.
Could Dwayne get it? We should put like a giant like fat head face when he's doing the eyebrow thing on our warehouse wall.
We should have a sticker that says Dwayne the Rock Johnson certified.
Yeah.
And it's like him going like that.
Yeah. Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? It's immobilization.
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I mean, so we're definitely venturing into international waters and getting out into the world. I'm super, super excited about it. I'm a little nervous. I sense the nervousness about it, but I think it's something that we've been wanting to do for a long time. Not because necessarily we can't wait to sell across the world, but because we legitimately get asked about it probably every week. There's someone in an email or a DM or something that's like for a while when we kind of blew up on TikTok, we were getting so much international attention. People just, from so many different countries were like, how do I get a journal? Please, like, I will literally help you sell the journal in this country. Like, trying to make deals. Like, so I'm excited to finally dip our toe in international waters.
It's true. There's always like a little bit of a sketchy thing going on sometimes. People are like, they're like, you know what? You can just send it to my cousin who like lives in like Massachusetts, and then they'll send it to my my aunt.
That's the only way to get a Heroes Journal outside the U.S. is to ship it to someone and they will take it and then ship it to you.
Yeah.
Which I think I feel kind of bad about. I want to open it up to the rest of the world.
It feels kind of illegal too. I don't know. Maybe
it's not illegal to ship someone something internationally.
I guess
it's just
true.
You just can't get it from us.
Yeah.
So but we're gonna change that. We're gonna experiment with Kickstarter. If it goes well, I hope that it does, and I hope it's not like easy. I hope it's just as seamless, honestly, as getting a home pickup from FedEx.
Yeah.
They just come at a different time and they pick up maybe like once a week, all of our international orders, and they pay shipping to where it evens out the same as like a domestic order. And
yeah, it'll be interesting. There's a few more, and then the other part about it is there's different marketing laws. So as we move forward, we're gonna have to figure out. We'll have to do some overhaul stuff on our website and things like that.
That's true.
But for now, Kickstarter will be great. There's a lot of people already on our email list. Got a lot of people on TikTok who like us, so
it's true. We just hit 50,000 people on our email list,
which is insane.
Yeah, we're really excited about it.
I really liked Bert's analogy. He's like, that's like a whole football stadium full of people.
That's a good analogy.
He's like, I could hack into our email, and I could send everyone to say, hey, it's me, Bert.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And it's just 50,000 people. Like, yeah, Bert.
That doesn't mean 50,000 people open our emails, but,
obviously. But.
And I think just saying hey would probably go to the spam, but. The point is that we get to tell a whole bunch of people that we're launching a Kickstarter, which is what we were doing. By the way, like, I don't know. I know this podcast is like part about the product, part about the business. We, for a long time, brainstormed what was the right lead magnet to get our email list properly grown. And so
can you talk about before we jump into it, I want to talk about the lead magnet thing really fast.
Like what it is? Yeah, go ahead.
There's there's an ethical way to like get a lead, right? Yeah. And to try to foster a relationship between a new person, a new hero, potential hero, and a company, right? And you brought this up the other day, and you were really proud of the way that we had done that. And I want can you kind of like tease that out? Like, what does it look like to have an ethical lead magnet?
Yeah, we've all seen the scummy lead magnet attempts on like, take this quiz, we'll send the results to your email address, or like find out what personality type you are, or sign up like, oh, you want to play this game for free? Okay, we'll just sign up really quick to this. It's like there's so many just kind of scummy ways that people build email lists that are probably not even good email lists out there. Like I was saying, we for a long time were brainstorming what is the right angle for Magic Month, what became Magic Month, because we were trying to build our list and really bulk our list and prepare them for this Kickstarter launch we're doing. If you don't know anything about Kickstarter, really the work that you're doing for that Kickstarter all happens before you hit launch. If you haven't marketed, or you haven't built a list or built anticipation for that launch, it's going to be really hard while your campaign is moving to get people to back it. You need that momentum going into it. So you do kind of have to create a buzz 2 to 3 months out before your campaign starts. And for us, like that meant, running lead gen to a thing called Magic Month. It was on brand with the thing that we were making for Kickstarter. It was free and it was really high quality content. Like we got our artists involved, we got Zach involved. And if you download the Magic Month PDF, which we'll put in the description, you can just tell for yourself, like it's really high quality. And we're really proud of that. And then, it's 32 days of daily side quests. So, quick things to help you kind of feel like you're on track. So we call it Magic Month because it's like a magical way, a kind of fantastical way to get back on track if you feel like the year isn't starting out as you wanted it to. But then the last side quest of Magic Month is to back the Kickstarter. So it is kind of a nice funnel, a nice kind of like chaperoning into the Kickstarter without being forceful. Like it would never hurt our feelings if you just did Magic Month and then dropped off.
Yeah.
So anyway, I guess it's a very long-winded way of saying I'm just proud of the way that we got that email list of 50,000. We could have sent out some, crappy lead magnet, but we sent out something that I'm really proud of. Like I think a lot of people would try and sell what we send out for free.
I was going to say, I feel like a good litmus test for a good lead magnet, for a good ethically solid lead magnet is like, if you look at the thing before you set up the funnels and stuff and you're like, we should sell this. It's a really good example of something that's a good lead magnet.
Yeah.
Because you're able to give some people things for free that is worth money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What's the Seth? I think it's Seth Godin or I don't know, Zach talked about this idea all the time. It's like, if you give away your thing for free, he was talking in the context of a book. He's like, if you give away all the content in your book for free, people will buy your book as a souvenir, which is a really interesting idea. That's kind of the world that we live in. It's like building this anticipation of being like, I have this really good book. You're going to want to buy it. It's like people are way too accustomed to getting a ton of information on something before ever spending a dime on it. So if you are instead able to just like show your cards and be like, hey, here's the content and look how good it is and look how free it is for you, out of like almost like an appreciation, kind of like a, I acknowledge that you gave me this for free. I'm going to buy this book as a souvenir. I might never even read it. It might just sit on my shelf, but as kind of like a thank you.
Yeah. And I like, we have a fun perspective on goal setting, and like I would say we're more of a positive psychology company than we are a goal setting company. Yeah. We're both obviously, but I think the positive psychology is the thing that we really focus in on.
Yep.
In the kindness of just becoming the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of new things in that world. Like there's not a lot of secret sauce you can give in that world, right? A lot of the millions of journals out there, they have things like where you can write down what you're grateful for, or you can write down your to-do list. But like I think what makes us special, and this is I guess me being a little arrogant, but I think what makes us special is we genuinely want people to take this idea that they're a hero of their life and apply it and make their life better. So even if they get that from a free piece of content that we put out,
right,
like that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, you sound so arrogant right now.
I know, right? So arrogant.
Yeah, how dare you want people to have a better life? No, 100%. I think that that you have a good piece of lead gen when it aligns with the values of your company. And you're right. Like we want to see people become the hero of their journey. And that doesn't mean they use our journal, by the way. But that also means that as we create lead magnets or we create, a piece of advertising or something like that, we're not going to take shortcuts that don't align with our values, or we're not going to take different angles that don't align, with our values. Like, of course you have to get people's attention somehow. Like you can't just like advertise a list of your core values and expect people to love it. Maybe that would work. I don't know. But for the most part, like what you're delivering at the end of the day has to align with your philosophy of what you started the thing for. Who and what you started the company for, I think is really important in that regard. And so, I'm really proud of Magic Month. I think it checks all of our boxes.
Yeah, sorry, I completely threw us off the rails. You're about to go into talk a little bit more about the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Just like the anxiety. And what are some things that you've done, both either good or bad, as you prepare for this Kickstarter, and some kind of maybe some areas where anxiety creeps in, that maybe someone out there who is trying to run a small business or even do a Kickstarter themselves, to let them know that it's normal.
Gosh, man. Lots of anxiety. Kickstarter is a breeding ground for anxiety. It's like
It's a petri dish.
It's part of why it's so exciting. It's not the same kind of anxiety that like I would associate with like a depressive kind of feeling, but it's more of the anxiety that you feel when you're about to like walk on stage. It's like you're so excited and you're kind of like, am I gonna like do really good or am I gonna mess this up? Like it's like you get those butterflies in your stomach, but because that's kind of what it is. It's like this really intense lead up to your thing. Kickstarter has you approve your project, and then you press go, and you just like hope the world says yes. You know, it's a really intense thing. You know, and then it lives on the internet forever. Like I don't think you can. Maybe you can delete your campaign after it closes or during. I don't know, but I think it lives forever. So it is really nerve wracking. I would recommend to anyone who wants to start a Kickstarter, definitely do your homework. There's so much good information out there for free about Kickstarter, and the community of people that like to back Kickstarters is so friendly towards them that many people who have started Kickstarters have also backed a lot of them. So it's very much a really friendly and collaborative environment. I would pick something that you're really passionate about. Start with a product, be able to explain it extremely clearly, try and meet all your deadlines, be really transparent with your backers, and you should be okay. You asked me what are some things I've done. Well, I've done a lot of things. I tried to give our team a really clear timeline of like when everything has to be turned in by. And I think that that's helpful. It's also kind of anxiety inducing, but, I also had a coaching call with a guy, that I watched a lot of his, videos, for free, obviously, on like YouTube and such for years, especially a couple of years ago when we were launching our first Kickstarter. So, he was really helpful, and I found myself watching some videos again a couple of years later. And then I saw that I could, book a call with him. So I actually did book a call with him. That happened last week. And, I kind of left like really discouraged. I'm not going to lie. I talked to Kyle a lot about it, but yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of like just some really harsh news that I think I needed to hear, but also needed to chew on. I think since then I've taken the good and left the bad about it, but it wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, it was just if we have complete transparency, it was Nick looked like he got hit by a train. Yeah. And then it was like, do we even do a Kickstarter? That was the emotion leaving that.
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, which we all felt, right? That was like, are we doing the right thing? And what would you say to someone who is nearing the beginning of a Kickstarter campaign that they've been preparing for an extremely long time, and they have that feeling of like, do I just turn back? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that moment, right, in the hero's journey.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's really cheesy of a parallel, but it's also very visceral. Like I almost hate how aligned I feel with like movies I watch and heroes' journeys that you see. Basically, the way it works is the closer you get to doing something that's really difficult to do, all the obstacles that you've overcome, all the self-doubt, all the prototyping and writing the marketing material and gathering an email list and building a team and getting a prototype, whatever the work went into it was, you do all that work and you get right up to the finish line and this voice in the back of your head pops up and it's like, you're not good enough to do this. How dare you? Like, how dare you try and change your circumstance? How dare you try and go against the rules that have been given to you? It's like this weird voice comes out of nowhere. That was like nowhere to be found earlier on in the process. But for some reason, once you finally have all your stuff ready to go, you're at the starting line, you've done the work, and you're ready to press go. Like, you just get this weird like feeling sometimes where it's like, you're doing it all wrong. You're going to fail. All the work you did was a waste of time. And it's just like, I think it's such a weird feeling because it feels so, it's so obviously incorrect. You know what I mean? Like it's just like that voice in your head is obviously it doesn't align with the last 6 months, at least for us, the last 8 months of work, right? Like where was that voice in the last 8 months? If it was real, and it was logical, it would have shown up earlier, right? Like if it was something that was true, then it would have probably bothered you before you even started, you know? And so you started it for a reason, see it through, you know? And if you hear that voice in your head, that just means you're very close to a breakthrough. Like, as cheesy as that sounds, it's like the Batman. It's like the night is truly darkest before the dawn starts to come, and you just have to press through. It's like the final boss before you move through the doors. You have to face it. So I really felt that last week, you know, and I don't want to like demonize that guy. He's just doing his job. He's like a consultant and stuff. And I respect his perspective, but at the same time, I had to like realize that maybe I know more than he does about our customers and
Heroes.
Sorry. Apparently I don't. I know more about our heroes than he does. You know, I know more about our style of Kickstarter and what we plan to do and the product we plan to release and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. That was really well said. This is something I realized yesterday. And it's a weird parallel. It's not like a one-to-one parallel, but so we started thinking about this project in the end of May of 2018. Mm-hmm. And then we ran our Kickstarter February 5th, 2019, right? So it's about 8 months, I think. 8 or 9 months. It was like I don't know. I can't count months very well. But
also, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. On Sunday, yeah, that was the 1 year anniversary of me quitting my job at Aduro.
Yeah.
Which is probably a week away from yours, right? You quit a week after me.
Yeah, well, we quit on the same day, but it was like...
okay. Well, then happy 1 year.
Yeah.
You did
Look
it.
at us.
We made it.
Yeah, we've done a year of entrepreneurship.
We're rich now, so...
Are we?
Nope. I think we're more broke than before.
You know?
But a lot happier.
Yeah, we're rich in happiness and fulfillment.
There you go.
But I was thinking about this. So we went back to, because I'm trying to do like a cost breakdown of this Kickstarter, everything we've spent to lead up to this. It's almost the exact same timeline, right? We started making the Astoria Magic Academy journal in the beginning of June. We started the first journal in the end of May. And we're releasing this Kickstarter 10 days after the 2 year anniversary of our first Kickstarter. Right. So it's almost like the exact same.
That's really weird. I never thought about that.
I didn't think about it till like literally yesterday.
Wow.
It's weird how like you kind of fall into these cycles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. I would say that though, like the year anniversary of entrepreneurship is very nostalgic. I would say the 2 year anniversary of Kickstarter is one of the craziest things you can ever imagine.
It's true.
It's like, how did this happen? Right. $15,000.
Yeah.
Is what we raised in February 2019. That is like because even if you asked me like in May of 2018, it was like, you showed me like a video of my life now, and you said, I'll give you $15,000. You think you can make this life happen? I would say, no. What are you talking about?
No way.
Right? Like, do you think you could get 25,000 journals into the world? You could get, get a group of people on Facebook that are a group of heroes on Facebook that are dogmatically excited about becoming the hero of their life and telling a better, more positive story about themselves.
Yeah. No way.
You could have a YouTube channel that's coming up on 40 unique videos, all of which I think have great content in them. You have, we almost have 52 letters from the mentor.
Wow.
All of that from $15,000, right?
That's
like,
pretty crazy.
I would look at you and I would tell you were insane. And I'd have an MBA at that point. So I'd be like, you're actually insane.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I think that, Kickstarter, though anxiety inducing and potentially people can get you down, or there's a little bit more fear of failure. That's how this whole thing started. So it's like,
it's true.
It's really like a moment of gratitude coming up to this one. I feel it like deep in my chest, because it's like, we got a shot. Like that's all it was. Is someone gave us, like, we had about 300 people give us a shot. And
yep,
It's been a wild ride.
I just love that it lives forever on Kickstarter. Like, no matter how big we get, it's just cool to have that like kind of immortalized on the internet. It's not hard to find. Like, I love that. Like, I have this vision that we're this big company one day, and someone's like, oh, like we can't do that. We don't have enough money for that. And I'm like, if we could figure out a way to build a company on $15,000, like we can figure out a way to do that. Just like, it's being so scrappy. It's being so resourceful. Like, it's like, if you have to move slower for a couple of years, like, to make it work, that's like what you do. So I love that it's not just like some myth, some tale. It's like documented, like you can see it on the internet. And even something I've actually, it's kind of cringy, but like I do this thing. I don't know if we ever talked about this on the podcast. I do this thing from time to time as like a journaling exercise where I will just go on a walk and talk to myself and I'll record it. So I have like over the past 2 years, I have all these time-stamped like 5 to 20 minute rants or just like flowing thoughts or like reflections on where the journal's at. I always try and mention like how many followers we have at the time and what's going on in the business and how I'm feeling about it. And nostalgically, I've like been going through and listening to all of the entries I made leading up to the Kickstarter 2 years ago. So it's been kind of funny just to like, I don't know, revisit my old self and like just hear how excited I was at the time and how nervous, but also like confident and also just like how ignorant, and I don't know, it's so funny. Like I was like, yeah, we have a email list of like 1,000 people. So like, if we get 1,000 backers, that'd be crazy. Just like, like 100% conversion rate
on your email list.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun to laugh at your old self and like be reminded of the enthusiasm, that like got you here. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I think I might actually pick one and have us listen to it this Friday. I think it'd be kind of funny.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. I want you guys to hear me.
Yeah, it's just like he's like, no one talk. Everyone put their phones in this bucket.
Shush. Listen to this 45-minute recording of me talking to myself like an insane person.
I'll have Bert edit it so that he'll put in random like sound bites.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like I think that we have 3 podcasts until we launch, right? 2 podcasts. This will go out this Saturday.
I think it's either 3 or maybe actually even before.
Because this Saturday is the 30th.
Oh, okay, then no.
So then 30th, and then we'll go to
It'll be the 30th. Then the first week.
6th.
Yeah, the 6th. That's 2,
and then the 12th. The 13th.
12th.
The
13th. Yeah, and then we launch
the Tuesday. So we had three podcasts.
So 3 podcasts.
So what you're going to see is Nick and I are probably going to continually have more and more bags under our eyes. And we're going to get more and more reflective, and we'll probably get really emotional at some point in the next 3 podcasts.
Yeah.
Because this process is
True.
not just, it's like you have to look into yourself and you have to like really think about, I don't know. It's like who I've become as a person since the last Kickstarter, or, we had this conversation. Maybe this is what we talk about next podcast, but it was like, when people give us their money, we have to follow through now. Like people have now, like we are now responsible for people's money.
Yeah. Everyone thinks it's cool to fundraise until you realize that that's just representative of you making a promise to a bunch of people that you have to fulfill every single promise on.
Yeah.
Every single backer number you see on that, it's like it's like literally going to someone you love and being like, I promise you I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. To like 200, 300, 500 people. It's like you take it really seriously, and it kind of it like gives you a gut check of like, who am I? Can I do this? Yeah. So it's a very weird arena that we've decided to step into.
Yeah, especially because this is going to be a larger undertaking. Hopefully, less allergic reactions this time than last time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the truth is like if we only raise $15,000, we'll have to figure it out, but it wouldn't be very fun. I think we're going to ask for more. I think we're going to ask for 25,000.
25 to 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that ballpark.
We need to run the numbers to make sure.
But
which is cool.
It is cool. It'll be interesting to see how people respond to a higher number, but I'm confident.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot more people here now.
Yeah.
A lot more people are excited about it.
Yeah.
That's what we've been doing for the last 2 years.
It's true.
We haven't just been sitting around waiting for the next Kickstarter.
Yeah. Like, oh man, I can't wait for that next one. It's gonna be crazy. We can probably do like 17,000. Yeah, no, it's been cool. I think like just everything we've done and people we've met along the way.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. But
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that covers it as far as what I wanted to talk about. Is there any final thoughts that you had?
That was great. That was fun to get a look inside your head about like international shipping and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm excited for
Inside
it.
of Kyle's anxiety.
A deep dive into Kyle's anxiety.
Yeah, cool. So so the video about the Kickstarter is actually going to be released the day before this is released.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Perfect.
you said next week.
Well, I hope you guys liked it.
Yeah, you'll see. Either you've seen or you will see Nick go on and support a Kickstarter, which will be super cool. It was fun. Like I kind of sat on the couch and watched them film it, which was kind of an interesting perspective. Yeah. But it's just fun to like see someone's passion project and get to be able to support that. So
it's true.
Well, if you like this podcast, go ahead and subscribe here or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're here on YouTube, we post videos about like fandoms and productivity and mental health, as well as obviously these podcasts, as well as the Road to Kickstarter series. So we'd love it if you subscribed here, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you next week.